Okay, great. Good evening. I would like to call the November 7th, 2022 Board of Supervisors Workshop meeting to order. It looks like it's at 7:01 thereabouts PM. In attendance this evening is myself, Vice Chair Donna D, and Supervisors Jim Johnson and Dawn Dowling on Zoom. Chairman David Gerstenheimer is absent this evening due to a business commitment. Also in attendance are Jeff Eastburn, Operations Manager, Melissa Ortega, Office Manager, and Township Controller. Great. So can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
The flag,
of the United States of
America, and to the republic
Republic,
for which it stands,
stand
one nation,
nation
under God,
for all.
indivisible.
Injustice, yeah. Okay.
Thought it was on delay.
Yeah, there's a delay. Okay. All right. So before we start public comments, I just want to make an announcement that we did have an exec session on Monday, October 31st, to talk about a personnel issue. All right. So not only I'll open up for public comments. This public comment may include any comments relating to tonight's agenda. Commenters must state their name and whether you are a resident of the township or a non-resident taxpayer in the township. If you do not identify yourself, your comments will not be included in the official minutes. So are there any public comments? So no, none of them. Okay. So let me start with the first item. We received the resignation of Nancy Morris as supervisor of the board. She positive comments. She's done a lot of good things for us, and she just thought it was a good time for her to step back and have someone else take on that responsibility. So what I would ask, I will do a motion, but before we do that motion, just that if anyone is, maybe I should do the motion first, right? And then we can, so I'll propose a motion. I make a motion that the Board of Supervisors accept Nancy Marshall Morris's resignation, email dated October 21st, 2022. Have a second?
I'll second it.
Hi, Jim. Okay, is there any discussion on that? Okay. And so motion carries. Everyone's in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, and those opposed say nay. So motion carries 3-0. So we've accepted Nancy's resignation. So what happens next is anyone who's interested in that position, if they would send to Jeff Eastburn at Franklin Township email address, your reason for interest and how your life experiences could contribute to your success in that position. And if you could have it to Jeff no later than Monday, November 14th at noon. And if you have a resume, please attach it. Please remember that not too long ago, we did a replacement for another board member that resigned. So we do have those applicants also in our hands. And I know, Jim, you've called them to see if they're still interested. So we'll have those to look at too. And then at the next board meeting, which is when is it? November 16th? Right. We will have a conversation and talk about who we would like to fill that vacancy. So any comments or discussion? Any comments from the public? We good? Great. Good. Thank you. All right. So next one is Melissa, it's for you. If you want to take that one.
Yep, I'm here. So unfortunately, Vicky was unable to log in tonight. Her daughter was in a really bad accident and she had a loss of a parent.
No.
Yeah, so she did provide me with an email for the update. She just said all the interior plans are all mapped out and they're going to do the exterior design concept within the next couple of weeks. And she's hoping to have some preliminary plans to submit to the board, hopefully by our November 16th meeting, if not our first workshop meeting. So.
Well, that's good feedback. Have you worked with her like in terms of the interior plans? Have you been in contact with her or of anybody in the office?
Yep, going back and forth, loading walls. They have to be compliant with the handicap accessible stuff. They've been out to the township multiple times, taken measurements. And so, yeah, there's been steady communication back and forth.
Excellent. Okay, well, we look forward to that either November or early December. Thank you, Melissa. Any
You're welcome.
comments or questions for Melissa? Okay, great. All right, well, Dawn, I'm going to hand it over to you. for,
Okay, I'd like to introduce Neil Vaughn from the West Grove Fire Company for the presentation of their budget.
Sure. Thank you, Dawn. And thanks to the board for having us this evening. I'm assuming and I'm hoping that I guess everybody got our proposed budget, which was actually just recently amended last week, and our budget presentation. Melissa, is that correct? Did that get disseminated?
Yes, it did.
Okay. So I guess obviously in the interest of time, I just want to go over, kind of how we got to where we did, because we are asking for, probably in the eyes of many, it is a substantial increase just due to our kind of economic climate right now, unfortunately, with inflation. All of our costs are rising, obviously, with fuel, our medical supplies, the JRH closure, we're still feeling the impacts of that. And the biggest reason for the increase above inflation is also due to some additional staffing needs with our with our volunteer numbers. Our volunteer numbers are good. We're averaging at about 16 people per call per month. But we're also, kind of feeling the effects of that during the daytime, which is the toughest part. So what this budget also includes is to add a dedicated firefighter EMT during the daylight hours. So what we're looking for, for the township, we're looking for a 0.79 mil increase amongst all of our 7 municipalities that we serve. For fire, we're looking at $150,000, $630.71, and for EMS, $59,744.61. I can run through some of the budget presentation if you do want me to, or certainly just entertain any questions that you may have. I don't know what
Neil, if you want to share,
one.
Neil, if you want to share your screen, you have the ability to do
Okay.
so, and I can stop what I'm doing.
Jeff, actually, I don't have our presentation right in front of me. I could get it real quick if you. This is fine. I don't know. I could bring it up real quick if you want me to, though, to do that.
So Neil, I have a question for you, and
Sure.
maybe you can decide how you want to answer it. And this is actually something that Melissa picked up on. So, I understand the numbers for 2023, right? It's 150,630 for fire and 59,745 for EMS. I get that.
Mhm.
But if you remember last year, right, we had a initial request in 2022 for $51,817. And then you came back in February, and there was a request for some additional money. And but based on our records, that was for EMT. So that the 51,817 for EMS went to $78,454. And now when we come back to 2023, it seems that the EMS numbers is closer to where it was before. It's like 59,745, but the fire numbers, the numbers for the fire company have jumped up. So instead of 127K, you're now at 150K. So can you help us understand why the shift? Because as I said, in February 2022, it was a request for an increase for EMS about 20K. And now we see that EMS number for 2023 going back to about where it was before, maybe a little bit more. But it's the fire company money that's really going up about 20K. So do you understand the question? Am I making sense to you?
You're absolutely making sense. So that additional request at the end of last year was our calculated cost due to the JRH closure.
Okay.
And what we wanted to work out was kind of being a one-time ask
Okay.
for for the municipalities to gauge, to kind of increase staffing and everything due to the JRH closure.
Right,
So
okay,
obviously we're no closer in Jennersville opening, but there is some light at the end of the tunnel. We think it's, as we project, it's probably going to be a little bit of a slow start now that everybody's kind of shifted their healthcare provider. We're seeing, we're about half and half to Chester County versus Christiana. So, I think it's going to take some time for them to kind of saturate the market and kind of get back in place. So, but we're comfortable with that.
Okay.
Like I said, what we're really struggling right now is with the daytime fire staffing numbers, and how we kind of worked our numbers before. Our fire staffing was actually under the EMS numbers, so we broke those out this year, kind of better allotted those, and then so that's why there was an increase there, and also the increase for the firefighter EMT during the day. So we kind of, like I said, just kind of rearranged some numbers, but also, this was kind of the first fire increase that we've asked for in a while, where EMS has been the primary concern, certainly, but now it's kind of caught up. So we're kind of steady with EMS, and we're looking at that increase for fire.
Yeah, I'm even more confused. So it sounds like that the 20K, the additional 20K for fire is also incorporating the daytime EMT person, right? That like, why not? I don't want to tell you how to do your budget, but why not keep EMT staff with EMT and keep fire staff with fire staff? It just, why mix them up like that? Because it's just hard to follow.
Yeah, and that's what we've done before, but we have two people on right now each shift during the day, that are cross-trained firefighter EMTs. So we're staffing 6 people right now. So
Okay.
2 or essentially 3 people at either station, the New London station and the West Grove station. But so 2 of them will run primarily the ambulance, and the other one will be responsible for either a fire call if that comes in, or a third ambulance call if that comes in.
Okay. All right. I mean, you're going to run, I guess the note that I would have to the township, to our budget is that, however you want to look at it, we've already kind of been aware of this increase when they came in February, even though it was a one-time deal. We have a sense of that number, right, back in February. So the fact that you're increasing things by about 15%, for both, I would say for both fire and for EMS, is kind of like, it's, in Donna D's opinion, something that we can manage because we've already kind of gotten used to that additional amount with that one-time request. So,
and that's the number that we wanted to try to live within.
right.
Understanding again, we're certainly not the only ones feeling the crunch of what's going on out there, and with the economy. So we understand that there's many more services that you certainly have to provide. There's another emergency services entity that also provides service within the township. So it wasn't an easy pill to swallow for us either. And again, that's why we kind of tried to stay within close to what that increase was last year due to the JRH impact.
Right. It's about $4,000 more than what the February increase is overall for 2023. So I guess the only other question I would have is, like, in the future, next time you give us the budget, just maybe have a little more clarity on where the cost for the people sits. And I understand that they're doing they do some cross work. Melissa, did you want to make a comment? Because you were all over these numbers. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, so my only comment would be in the West Grove Fire Company 2023 revised request. If you look at the 2022 number, it still states 179, 421.61, and it doesn't seem like that number adds in the $29,916, which in total that amount would be $209,740.76.
Melissa, you are correct. We did not, and that's an oversight on our part. We did not.
Right.
It just based off the 2022 budget. We did kind of just fail to add the increase in, because some of the problem is too, we did have 6 out of 7 that did respond to that. We did have
Mhm.
one that didn't, so we're just trying to, obviously make that fair as well across the board. But no, that was an oversight on our part, so we'll be sure to correct that.
Yeah. So then in total, like your increase request on page 2 of that of the 30,953.71 should technically be 4,037.72. So it's not really technically, it's going up $4,037.72.
Correct. Like I said, my apologies on that.
Yeah, I
That's
think, I think it gets back to what I said, that the West Grove looked at it as a one-time request, and we've kind of, it in a strange way, it kind of helps us because we're used to that number.
Right.
Jim, do you have any questions?
Just Neil, two questions. Weren't you staging something at Jennersville Hospital? Are you still doing that?
What we're doing is what we call it's a power truck. So 4 days a week, we add an extra ambulance crew, once we gauge what the busy times were. And actually we've been doing pretty well with kind of gauging to see where our numbers fall, where our projections were for the impact are kind of right on par. So it all depends on the busyness of the units in the area. So, it kind of floats around a little bit. So if Union of Oxford's busy and we're busy a little bit, then that unit will migrate over to the hospital. If like if the other end, like the Avondales and the Longwoods are busy, it can shift up that direction too. So it's kind of a fluid truck that kind of floats, throughout the area as needed.
So your access to the hospital is still there. It didn't change. That's another thing.
Yeah, we can at least park a unit at the hospital, obviously, yes, but they're not providing, any emergency services.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So you still have the long travel time to Christiana, wherever you have to go.
Wherever we have to go, like I said, we're running, about half and half between Christiana and Chester County. It's about the same transport time. We've had a few go to Union. Actually, I was following the ambulance to work today. They went to Riddle. So it's a couple different, outliers, but our main two have been Christiana and Chester County.
Okay, great. Dawn, do you have any questions?
I have one
I'm sorry. So wait, Jim has one more than.
I have another. It's actually more of a statement, I think.
Okay.
On your increasing EMS call volume slide, it looks like that in 2022 you've estimated the year, but with the 3 asterisks, and then it says based on 1,813 calls as of 7/31/2021. I think that should be 2022, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just a matter of clarity, that's all.
Yeah, that should
Yeah.
use the most up-to-date information, right? Yeah.
Right. I'll yell at Gary on that one. I'll blame him. Yeah, no, thank you.
Dawn, you want to go?
I am thrilled that I have Donna and Melissa eagle eyes on this. And did I hear that there's another hospital closing in Delaware County?
I believe Delaware County Memorial Hospital closed actually today. Their ER closed today. Now that's kind of
Wilmington Hospital.
And Wilmington. Okay.
It was Wilmington Hospital.
God.
Yeah. Well, Delaware County Memorial Hospital did close today. We did receive communication on that one too.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
hospital.
So, but that doesn't affect us too much. But yeah, I mean, it's
No, it's
out there,
just, it's just
right.
scary, that's all.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because the residents of Delaware County, they're kind of saying the same thing that we were saying this time last year. Crozier, their holding company kind of operates some of those, and even Springfield Hospital, they weren't sure what the future was there. So their landscape's going to look, drastically different here coming up too.
I mean, I saw that today. I couldn't believe it. That's more, right?
Yeah.
So Dawn, any other questions or?
No, I'm so happy that we got taken over at least by Christiana, so we are very lucky.
Yeah,
I think everybody's collective fingers are crossed here at this
Yes.
point.
That's right.
yeah, we don't really know when that's going to start though, do we? Neil? I think
We're
it's,
hearing possibly sometime next year, but we also hear that not to speak ill will upon the previous tenant. But when they left, they kind of even took the wiring from
that's what I heard.
the
Yeah.
walls, inside of the walls. So they have a fair amount of work to do.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. I
they
was
said emergency first. I'm sorry. Emergency first.
Yeah, so it sounds like they're going to stand up the ER first and then kind of figure out from there if they're going to add any other services is the last what we've been told. So
okay. Well, we'll take it, right? We'll
Yeah,
take
really.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Okay. All right. So,
Any other comment?
yeah, any other comments? Oh, John, you're here. I know you always have good questions. You have anything for Neil? Okay, great.
The only thing that I was worried about is many of the fire companies, if they lose volunteers and have to go to paid staff, the cost will go
Right.
astronomically high.
Right.
It's always been a worry.
Yeah. No, we're
Yeah.
very thankful for the volunteers. They take good care of
It's
us.
something to be aware of.
Yeah.
No,
Well, just,
certainly.
yeah, just a little bit, the fact that you had to hire an EMT, I mean, that's money, it costs money, and we're just
Yeah.
getting a little piece of it, right? It's just gonna cost more, so.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like I said, we're doing pretty good with volunteers. Our numbers are pretty strong, but they have their family commitments and their daytime jobs and everything like that. So it's just one of the things that we have to contend with a little bit.
So Neil, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Neil.
Yeah, no problem. Just to kind of close out,
Okay,
I think next year we'll probably look at, we usually do our budget meeting with all the municipalities in August, but since that meeting, we've now been to, each of the municipalities as well individually. So we might look at, rather than doing the group meeting next year, to do some FaceTime individually with the municipalities. I think that goes a little bit of a longer way. So,
That'd be
my
great.
apologies not having the budget presentation set up to control. Jeff, my apologies on that one for not being ready. But, certainly if you review it, have any questions, we're certainly available to answer, anything needed.
sounds.
Okay. Thanks again, Neil.
Yeah, no
Thanks,
problem. Thank you,
Neil.
guys.
Thank
So
you
now
so
I-
much.
Now I'd like to introduce Guy Swift from the Avondale Fire Company, who will present their budget.
Yeah, I got a few things here to do, if you don't mind.
No, that's fine.
My quarterly report done for the 3 months. The Franklin County Avondale Fire Company in the third quarter responded to 3 calls in your district as far as fire goes. We've been averaging about 10 firefighters per call, volunteers, and then we have your staff to help supplement that. Looks like 53 of the calls were total dispatch were 131 per quarter. 53 of the calls. More, so.
The right-hand button. There you go.
Thank you, Jeff. 53 of the calls out of 133 were 7 in the morning till 3 p.m. 59 were 3 to 11, and then 11 to 7 overnight were 19 calls. Dispatch to arrival times in the daytime were 6.85 minutes. 3 to 11 is 7.71, and then overnight just about 8 minutes because everybody's got to get out of bed. So I'll give you copies of that. And then for the 9 months, we combined the 9 months into one report, and I'll give you this is your copy as well. That's EMS. Hold on, let me get this together. The fire company, we responded in 9 months to 376 dispatches, 6 of them which were in Franklin. There again, 153 calls were in the daytime, 161 were 3 to 11, and then overnight were 62. Average dispatches, average time is basically the same, 6.85, 7.71, 7, like I say, about 8 minutes. I will give you a copy of that. And then for the EMS, for the quarter, we did 6 calls in Franklin Township. And That was out of 420 dispatches for the quarter. Dispatches were 270 in the daytime, 150 overnight. They do 6A, 6P to 6P to 6A. And dispatch to arrival was about 8 minutes. And we're still looking at a little over an hour for a return. There again, because of, as Neil said, Christiana and stuff. Then the 9-month report for EMS, total dispatches were 1,151 calls, 13 of which was in Franklin. They're getting averages times about stayed the same. The majority of our calls are from 6A to 6P in the daytime. Some missed dispatches by municipalities. There was no missed calls in Franklin Township. What I mean by missed calls is we may have been tied up on another call. There are 2 calls and transferred to somebody else. Yeah, it's not really missed, but that's yours there. Getting to the budget. I think some of the numbers may be confusing, and I apologize for that because I know last year in 2022, if you look at, I'm going to go fire first. We were asking for 12,344.82. And if you look at this year, we're only asking for 9,342.38. And the reason why it is we did the formula that municipalities request us to try to use, and it's just because of the call volume. That's the way the numbers played out. You know, I'm not here to ask for more than what I'm entitled to. I'm here to be fair.
And we appreciate that because when we looked at the numbers, we're like, whoa, they're going down. Was that? And then Melissa said it's probably because of call volume. So
It was probably call volume. Yep.
Yeah, and like I say, I'm just, you know, I'm being fair. You know, I'm not, you know, that's the number we came up with. You know, as far as the number for EMS, what we did is with the fire, the way we did our formula, there's an assessed value. There's population, assessed value, and then call volume. That's how you come up with our numbers. Excuse me. What I suggested we do with EMS is, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful by no means, is if there's a fire and you live in a $500,000 home, that's an assessed value when we pull in there. If you're living that same $500,000 home and you're calling because you're having chest pains, there's no assessed value there. We're not protecting the property. We're coming to provide medical aid to somebody that lives in that home. So what we did is we did it by call volume. And believe it or not, the numbers weren't far off. So we felt it was fair to do it by call volume versus assessed value, because like I say, if you call for EMS, there's no assessed value.
Life's a life.
And life's a life, whether you live at a $10,000 house or $1 million house. So that's how we came up with our numbers. So you'll see for EMS, last year was 19, this year it's 13,262.72. Now, if you want to be nice and leave it the same way as 2022, I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to take it. But I'm just being fair and honest, and that's the way we came up with our numbers. As Neil said, the feedback I've been getting with Jennersville Christiana Care is I'm here mid-year. And one meeting I did attend, they stated they were going to do emergency room, radiation lab, and they were going to open the west wing. I think there's 11 beds in the west wing, because they got to have a place where somebody can spend the night if they have to come in and be observation for 24 hours or whatever. So that's where we're at with that. As far as some of the stuff that we have accomplished throughout this year on the fundraising screen, you can see boot drives. We did 3 boot drives. We raised roughly, excuse me, $12,000. Now each boot drive, we're only doing 3 hours. So, you know, my attitude is where you're going to go and get $4,000 or $1,200 an hour or whatever it comes out to be. We did do a chicken barbecue, did 596 dinners sold out. We didn't, I actually got the report the other night, it was $6,100. we made with that. We did not get to the golf tournament this year. That's hopefully on the book for next year. So we're definitely going to do another chicken barbecue next year. So, I mean, that's where we're at. Like I said, I think our budget's pretty self-explanatory, but if you have any questions, I'll be more than glad to try to answer them.
Well, I just want to commend you for your solid numbers. I mean, I think that's commendable that,
I'm there again. I feel that when you're doing business with taxpayers' money, like Neil said, you guys are in the same boat we're in. I mean, I'll be quite honest with you, the numbers that did go up is because of fuel, like he said, fuel and staffing and just general supplies. And they used to be able to buy a box of rubber gloves for like $4. Now they're 17. I think last I heard they were like $13. I mean, it's like, fuel was $6 a gallon now versus, so it's like I said, I'm sure you guys feel the same out here on your streets just like we do. So
Looks like somebody on your staff likes graphics too.
we were told that the township like to see the pie chart,
Yeah.
to see the graphics. They said before.
nice job.
Yeah,
I think we do.
yeah, we do.
Everybody tells us that, we like to see the pretty pie chart. Okay.
They did a good job.
Kenneth Pring did it for them.
I can just say I like when the numbers all match up. So good job.
This is always-
Thank you.
Yeah, good job. And I like how you throw in what you made with your fundraising and you include all that in your package.
Yes, and matter of fact, we're actually having a boot drive this Saturday, so if you're coming through Avondale, please be patient. Yeah, they want to try one more before it gets too cold. I was like, well, let's
That's
do
awesome.
it. I also, excuse me, some of our capital purchases that were on the budget, they look a little, we need a new squad truck. Our Ford is getting rusted pretty well around the wheel wells and what have you. So we're going to look at replacing that. I did just sign the grant paperwork to go into committee's office for a new security. We have cameras in the firehouse. Well, half of them don't work. So my thing is you either make them work or do without. And we voted to try to make them work. We reached out to committee's office and we put in for a grant for $50,000 to upgrade our camera system, which don't know if it's going to happen or not, but it was worth an hour and a half time to do a grant. Our epoxy floor, you'll see that on the one paper. I just got a price for that just to do the floors, $86,000, but that's to do the engine bay, the gear room, and the ambulance bay because it's all faded. And where we used to have the old exhaust system in the floor, it's cracked all around that. So we have some work to do. We're going to try to take the Ingra dog system out, which is the exhaust system in the floor. We're going to try to do that in-house to save money. I got a couple of friends of mine that are masons. I used to be in the masonry field. So we'll fill it in and try to save money that way and do that much ourselves. And that grant is actually going to Sappy's office. We've been in contact with her and she's like, put it in, we'll see what we can do. Are we going to get them? We don't know, but it's worth a try.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, any grants out there I can put in for, I put in for it. If I can, I don't care if I get $2,000, that's $2,000 we didn't have. So that's the way so
Good job.
thank you.
Great attitude. Awesome.
Jim, any,
No, good. Thank
and Melissa, you're good and, Dawn, you're
Yep.
good?
Yep, we're good.
Oh, no. Yeah, I'm good.
I think it's amazing how much fundraising and extra work they do.
Yeah, it is pretty impressive how you guys are not only doing the work, but then you're doing the fundraising. John, do you have any comments?
The only thing I would say is the formula that back in 2015 EMS services did have 3 components.
Yes.
Thinking there was originally all we're doing is using assessed value for the whole township in comparison to the other townships. How much percentage that you had to pay. And it did not account for call volume, so it was pretty unfair to Franklin and some of the smaller townships. So that negotiation took almost 2 years to do.
Mhm.
Curtis Mason, the bill then.
Yes, yes.
We get a decision there, but the final concept was that we would use 3 factors to determine what the allocation was, which would be the assessed value, which is property,
Mhm.
the population of the township, and the call volume. Each of those factors had 1/3 weight.
Yes.
It took a long time to get everybody to agree to that. It did, so. Just
Yes.
want to give you that history, that took a while to get that. Well, now, in fact, you're in the call, that's where a lot of people want to be.
What we did both.
All behind that for most of us wanted to go. And we just couldn't get over. Each township had some.
Exactly.
Township have an enormous number of laws.
Mhm.
That needs to depend on.
Yeah, we sort of. Hey, we was new.
They were using the service. They're basically that's fashion, but that was generated at full. That's right. That's worked pretty well. Everybody seemed pretty satisfied with that. I like that.
New Garden Township, for instance, EMS, I just got the report from January to the end of October. EMS just for New Garden Township, we've done 827 calls. It said 60. Exactly. Yes. No, I mean, that's why we just, stick it both ways. I can be more than later to share the papers with you. And that the numbers were that.
It's only like just relative. Penis. But West provides 90% of our.
Exactly.
And Abigail provides 10%.
Mhm.
Just based on.
But we're lucky to have both, yes, believe me.
And I mean, we work hand in hand. I mean, West Grove covers calls for us, we cover calls for them, and like deals. They go this way, we go that way. I mean, we try to work. So try to work out the best. They covered 3 calls a day for the Kent Longwood region. Just because they got their.
When you go back and you just tell your folks that we really appreciate what they've done for us, and we just,
Absolutely. Like I said, that's the numbers that are fair. Like I said, if you want to know from next year, I'm not going to. If you don't, I understand that too. Yeah, so appreciate all your help, and like I say, we working with Jeff on different things, but yeah.
Thank you, Guy.
Free time. Thank you. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Guy.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Daniel.
You're welcome.
Please give Tina my best. I love her.
Oh, yeah, we love her too, trust me. I couldn't do without
Yeah.
her. Rod,
She's awesome. Yeah, she's awesome.
thank you.
See you
Have
guys.
a good evening.
Okay, you too.
See ya.
Okay, next Jeff is gonna start a discussion about snow plowing and winter maintenance bids and possible award.
Thank you very much. And happy to report that, as usual, as normal, we did advertise or did, winter maintenance service program. We did have a bidder, which ended up being Yardworks. It was advertised in the newspaper and on our website and was picked up by several what I call bid reporting agencies. So I think Jim DeRazia is on tonight, and I would say overall between the 2022, 2023 pricing compared to the previous winter season, if my math is correct, we're talking about a little less than a 5% increase overall based on the approximate hours for winter season that we have. But the key thing is if we have less hours we just pay what we use. If we have double the hours, we pay what we use. So in the bid, they are approximate hours only.
Okay. There's no other comments. I'll make a motion to approve the 22-23 road de-icing and winter maintenance services bid with the pricing per piece of equipment as outlined in the bid as submitted by Yardworks, AKA J. Dominic DeRazio.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Great. All right, so I'm going to take us to our next item, and that has to do with the pro board. So we had a member of the pro board that had to resign just because of, just a lot of things going on in their lives. And so the pro board has gotten together to look for someone to replace them. And I was at that meeting on last week where we had two really good candidates come to the board. Let me see if I get my names right. So one was Rebecca Anderson, and she was a woman in school, and she was looking to, she's going for a naturalist scientist associate degree, really wants to like update her resume and just get involved and be active in the township. And then we had a woman named Andrea Roberts, and she's a mother of two. Family lives in, and both people live in the area, but she has history in the area, and she runs a construction and design company in Delaware, and works as a home that does renovation and preservation of homes. So really two really good candidates who were very, very interested in contributing to the township. And after a lot of deliberation and talking, what the board wanted to do is they wanted both of them. So is there any way we can have both? And so what at the end of the day we came up with as a proposal is that they are recommending to us, to the Board of Supervisors, that we ask Andrea Roberts, the woman who's the older woman with the two kids in the construction company, to take the position, but to make sure Rebecca Anderson knows that she is very much wanted to be part of the group in terms of volunteering and getting involved, and hopefully that will be a way for her to update her resume and get that experience into her resume. So as a result, as I said, the pro board would like to make the official appointment to Andrea Roberts, but make sure that Rebecca knows that we would like to keep her ask her to volunteer and to be as involved as she can be. So any questions that I can maybe help you with? Because I was at the meeting. Two very good candidates. I don't think we could go wrong with either one. Any questions?
No.
Okay, Jeff, you were there too. So
Yep.
yeah. All right. So with that in mind, I'll make a motion. I make a motion that the Board of Supervisors accept the pro committee's recommendation to appoint Andrea Roberts to fulfill Jim Germain's position until May of 2023.
I'll second.
Thanks, Dawn. Bye, Dawn. Any additional discussion? Any other questions?
No.
Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Okay, so the motion carries 3-0. All right, did I do anything wrong? We're pretty quick.
No, you've done
You're
excellent.
doing
All right.
great.
Dave would be.
Doing
proud.
awesome, Donna.
Okay, all right, so let's go. That's the formal agenda for tonight's meeting. We're going to move to public comments. And this public comments can include any comments on anything the attendees want to share. Commenters must state their name and whether they are township resident or a taxpayer of the township. So any public comments?
Yeah.
Okay, John.
My name's Sean.
Turn the mic on, John. We can't hear you.
John, do you want to come up or?
I use one.
Sit over there, John. We're up a skirt. We can better.
We're just spinning around.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it gets
Just spin it
recorded.
around and pull the chair over as well. Or go.
Whatever makes you happy, John.
You could be at the fire company. That's all.
Okay, my name's Sean Auerbach. I'm a resident and taxpayer. And just as a former supervisor of 10 years, I couldn't be more pleased with the way the township is being managed, not only by the board, but by the staff. So I always kind of wondered how things would go after, but I couldn't be more pleased with the way things are going. So thank you for your contributions.
You're a good
That's very
teacher.
nice.
Yeah, you're a good teacher, John.
Yes, and mentor.
And mentor. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Absolutely. Mentor.
Mentor. Anybody else? All right, I'm so excited. So, well,
Great meeting.
I think I have to adjourn. So I make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:46. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, good job, Jim. All right. All in favor?